I have a couple of points to make on the climate compatible development. First, I think we have to be cognizant of the science. We have recently received two very important findings. One which has come from the International Energy Agency, which has effectively given a clarion call saying that if we do not change our behavior, if we continue on this path, by 2017, in the next 5 years' time, the climatic impact would become irreversible. This is a very strong clarion call to us to take action. The other important report that has come out is one by the IPCC on the extreme events, which is saying that the intensity of these climatic will continue to increase. Those that you have seen in Pakistan, those that you have seen in Latin America, those that you have seen in Russia, for instance, in the case of the heat wave. The point I'm making is that the challenge before us to meet or to overcome the climatic challenges is becoming squeezed. It is we have little time to respond to what we need to achieve, even if we are talking about reducing the climate change to 2-degree level. My second point here is about the resources, as the chair has pointed out. There are 3 points here. One is that we need to scale up these resources. The availability of international finance to the developing countries needs to be scaled up. It needs to be predictable, and at the same time, we also need to search for new ways of financing, which you have just rightly pointed out about the innovative sources that we need to look for. What do I mean by scaling up? For instance, let's take the Fast Start Finance. If the average of the Fast Start Finance was 10 billion a year, and we agreed at Cancun in our Cancun meeting that these needs to be scaled up to $100 billion, then there has to be a mechanism by which we can calculate some midterm targets reaching, let's say, it should be $11 billion in 2013, or it should be, by 2016, it should be $50 billion, so that it should reach to $100 billion. We need a mechanism, and we are trying to build and construct these mechanisms by way of establishing a green climate fund, by way of establishing various institutions here. There is a need to look for innovative sources, yes. The innovative sources include, for instance, carbon levies and etc., as you have pointed out that they are indeed available, but we do not have an arrangement on how to pull these resources up. What lessons can we draw from it? My first point on this is, in order to reach a green path, the first action lies at the national level. Our experience, including in Pakistan, very clearly suggests that there has been an institutional deficiency in bringing the green growth element in our economic development policies. The ministries for environment, for instance, in majority of the developing countries have been the weakest element. They have not been able to interact with properly with the development planning. We need to strengthen the national level institutional framework. My second point on this would be the international level. At the same time, we also need to build an institutional architecture at the international level, the one that we are considering in the context of even Rio +20, that the role of the multilateral development banks, the role of the international financial institution, the role of the United Nations has been deficient in moving towards the green economy. Now, one of the most important things that we can do, in my view, is to consider putting a value to the ecological resources. Our the economics that we have been using, or the role of GDP as the measure of economic development, perhaps needs to be changed. We need to measure the ecological resources that we have and integrate them as externality in our economics in order to value how much losses that we are incurring by losing the ecological capital that we have in the world. My final point is going to be on the private sector. I'm not sure that private sector as of now is geared in either at the national level or at the international level. During for instance, in the design of the Green Climate Fund, we have been going forward in trying to approach the private sector as to how they can integrate in the climate compatible development. We have agreed that there is a need to put some standards on the role of the private sector, both at the national level and international level. There is need to evolve social and environmental standards that we have and to impose them on the private sector for their role or to play a role in developing a green economy in the case of for a climate compatible development.